Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dion, and I am back with week 36 of this weight loss journey. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the stat. All right, so I had the VSG, or vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery, on August the 10th, 2016. My highest weight recorded on January 24th, 2016 was 477 pounds. My surgery day weight on August the 10th was 429 pounds. Um, right now as of this morning, I am sitting at 231 pounds. That is just, well, 231.4 pounds. That's just 1.4 more pounds until I hit my newest ultimate goal. So since surgery, that is a loss of 198 pounds since August the 10th. And since my highest weight, that is a loss of 241 pounds. That is pretty awesome. I could not have asked for better results than that at all. All right, so if you guys follow me on Instagram, if you don't, you can find me. It's the exact same as this channel, VSGD. You can check me out there. But if you've been following me, you know I ran into a bit of a snag a week ago. So I decided to change things up a bit, and I kind of want to go over that with you guys. Um, Basically, I was at a bit of a stall, and I really kind of knew why. Um, at the beginning of the week, on April the 24th, I decided to kind of get back to basics and to cut out the dairy as well. I've always known that I was lactose intolerant, probably since college, but I just didn't do anything about it. Um, I continued to eat dairy. It didn't matter. I would just have to deal with the side effects. Um, but lately, it was causing a problem, and I just felt bad. I felt bloated. Um, I was hitting stalls left and right, and at one point, I was just eating just a whole lot of dairy, a whole lot of yogurt and cottage cheese and ricotta cheese stuff. I'm pretty sure I should not have been eating, knowing that I'm lactose intolerant, but I did anyway. So it kind of hit a point last week where I just had to do something different. I was just feeling just terrible, and I knew what the cause was. So I decided sorry about this quick adjustment. I decided to go on a week-long dairy-free kind of a diet, just to see how it does. And along with that, I decided to come up with something I called Transparency Week, where I documented and posted on Instagram every single thing that I ate, all the calories that I took in, all the protein that I took in, and every change that I made throughout that week. And I'm happy to say that it worked out very, very well. I absolutely see now that dairy is a problem, and that I'm going to have to be careful when I add it back in slowly. Um, so, there are two things that I kind of learned from doing this, and I kind of want to share that with you now. Of course, I say this every single time. I'm not a nutritionist, not a doctor, not a surgeon, not any kind of certified weight loss consultant. I'm just some dude, and this worked for me, and I kind of want to share that knowledge, and hopefully it might work for you. Everything I'm going to say is always tailored to what works best for you, so just keep that in mind. All right, so the first thing I learned was pretty much if you're having problems, like I was having problems, kind of go back to basics. It sounds simple, and it really is simple. For me, at the beginning of this weight loss thing, I was just dropping pounds and dropping weight, And the reason why I was is because I kept things simple. I kept things very basic, and I kept really good track of everything that I was consuming. I weighed everything, I counted calories, I counted protein, I made sure stuff was basic, and I really held myself accountable. Um, I haven't been doing that too much lately. I've been trying to kind of get into the routine of, just eating just enough to where I'm kind of satisfied and taking in what I pretty much thought was the amount of calories and protein that I needed. And I was doing great. It's just the weight loss had really slowed down. So kind of getting back to where I was doing great, where I was losing a lot, where I felt the best, really helped me out now. So I just did that for a full week. It's just kind of going back to where I knew I was being successful and I was holding myself accountable and it was working. And this week it really did work. At the beginning of the week, I started at 238 and a half pounds, I believe. So getting back to basics really did help. So for you guys, if you feel that you're coming up on a stall and you think that you're doing stuff different now than you did kind of right after your post-op, it might help to kind of go back to where you were doing very well and to see what changes that you've made and kind of go back to where it was successful. That might help you. Maybe you're doing the same as me to where you aren't weighing things out like you used to, or you're not posting, your meals online to where people can hold you accountable, or maybe you've added too many things to where, stuff is just kind of complicated. Um, Making things simple really does help, and it was effective for me, and hopefully it'll be effective for you guys as well. Um, the second thing that I learned was listen to your body. And I've said this many times before, but I can't stress enough how much that works. Um, right now, I'm a little bit past 8 months out, and I know I'm going to get to that point where I'm not going to be able to rely on my doctors and my surgeons and my nutritionists anymore. Of course, now I can email them or talk to them and ask them questions, but there's going to come a time, and it's going to come a time for all of us to where we're going to have to do this on our own. And it seems kind of scary, but it's best to kind of start practicing that now. And the first step to that is listening to your body. Um, I knew things weren't right with me. I knew I was feeling bloated. I wasn't feeling that great. Um, Not only was I hitting a stall, I had gained a couple pounds. So I knew something was wrong, and I knew something had to change. And for me, it just happened to be dairy. Um, if you're going through something like this, you might not know what it is. So if I could suggest anything, it would be to go back to that basic starting point, and then once you get settled in there, maybe start adding the things that are different now. So if you're starting to eat, sugars and carbs and dairy and things like that, maybe just for a week, maybe just for 7 days, cut that out, go back to basics, and once your body is kind of reset, maybe add one of those things in at a time to see how your body takes to it. And if you start experiencing those problems again, you'll kind of know that that is where your problem lies. You'll kind of see that, maybe you have to adjust those foods. I don't want to say cut them out, that's not my call to make. It's definitely up to you. But you might have to make some kind of adjustments if you want to get those results that you were seeing at the very beginning. And I'm going to have to make those adjustments. My body has kind of gotten back to basics now, so starting next week, I'm going to add in Premier Protein again. It's a whey protein. This whole week I was doing plant-based protein. I'm going to add that whey protein back in to see how it does. Do that for a few days. If I'm okay, I'm going to add in Quest bars. They're also made from whey protein. It's a milk-based product, and see how that does for me. If that's okay after a few days or a week, Maybe I'll try a little bit more dairy. I'm probably going to stay away from just stuff like milk with lactose in it. I'm going to probably stay away from Greek yogurt for a while. I really don't need cottage cheese. I'm getting my protein fine without it, so I'm not going to miss that. And I found a vegan alternative to cheese that is working pretty well so far. So I'm going to try that for a little bit to stay away from cheese. You know, simple little changes might really help in the long run. And what I don't want anybody to do is to completely deprive yourself of stuff, because if you have the same issues that I've had in the past, depriving yourself of things just makes stuff worse. If you tell yourself that you can't have something, you're only going to crave it more, and it's going to cause more problems, and you're going to binge on it, and it's just going to be an issue down the line. So I don't want anybody to deprive themselves of anything. That's not what this is about. It's just kind of tailoring things to where your body can perform better. And for me, it's cutting out a lot of the dairy and just making a few substitutions to where my body works the way I want it to. And I'm not missing anything. Maybe later on down the line, I'll have a little bit of yogurt every now and then. I'll stick with my almond milk or my soy milk for now. Maybe if I want regular milk, which I don't really see myself doing, I'll just use lactose-free milk. Basic changes like that I can live with and I'll be okay with. And that's the main purpose of this. You want to make changes that you can live with in the long run. Something that you could stick with, something that you'll be okay with for a long-term period. If you don't, you might not stick with it. I know I probably wouldn't. If this was too difficult to where I was just depriving myself of anything that tasted like dairy or any kind of meats, I might not stick with it, and I'd probably fail because I know that's how I am. Just got to listen to your body, listen to, how your body works and how your diet works and how your mind works with giving up food. And you'll probably be okay. But that's it. I'm trying to keep this video short. I will talk to you guys next time. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them down below. If you want to follow me on Instagram, just, send me an invite, be my friend on there, talk to me on there. I respond to everything. But until next time, later.